Welcome back to Goonies Minute, everybody. Goonies Minute is the fan podcast where we explore the film Goonies minute by minute. I'm Brady.
And this is Chris.
And today we're covering minute number 27. Chris, how you doing?
Boy, I'm happier than a pig in slop.
I was wondering what today's analogy was going to be, a pig in slop.
Pig in slop.
What was it the other day? You were dancing like a worm on a hot plate?
I was dancing like a slop on a pig.
There you go. All right, well, with our opening banter out of the way, you want to get into the minute?
Let's get into the minute.
All right. So there is no question about it. No one could survive the fall that the spill that Bran took off of the cliff into the woods. And if you did survive, you wouldn't be walking probably for quite a while.
No, it's a definite attempted murder.
Yeah.
And you see him fly off the bike. I would love to have seen the prop and how they did that, because he had to have some kind of land. There's no.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, there's only so much you can fake as far as him flying in the air like that. He has to land somehow.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to seen how he landed.
Or how they launched him in that bike off of the cliff.
Right.
And then much less, there would have had to have been some big platform down there for him to land on, obviously. Okay, so sure, Bran probably would not have survived that. But Troy would definitely not have survived the repercussions of having done that. Andy and Steph would have totally said, listen, this is what happened.
Wouldn't you think they would have gone straight to the cops? Or maybe they would have been terrified, or maybe he would have kidnapped them. No. I did find out a little bit more about Troy's Mustang.
Oh, yeah?
It is a 1983 Mustang GT 5.0 convertible. And another thing, remember I had said something about the speedometer only going up to 85? That doesn't mean it could only go 85, but that was the correct speedometer.
Really?
And everything on that car was legit, so there was no other stand-in cars or anything like that from any of the research that I've done.
Do you know how much that went for back in the day?
Why didn't I look that up? No.
All right, we'll have to figure that out.
I'll figure that out one of these days.
And how much it would go for in 2017.
Yeah, I was more concerned about the 5.0, which was on the side, which it did have, and seeing if that speedometer, when they showed that, was the same as that car.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll find that out later on.
That's true. Another little problem I had with the scene is the fact that the Goonies, the four of them as they are right now, are kind of like coming up and going down on the cliff, and then they're coming up off the beach, and then it's just...
Yeah, it's weird, and it continues in the next couple minutes to where...
And they suddenly have jackets, raincoats out of nowhere, or Mikey does. And
well, they're just so prepared.
Yeah, right.
They were in the gloomy weather of Astoria. There's always a chance of rain, so... But what was the song that was playing?
Let me see. I have that in my notes.
It was just playing in Troy's car.
It's called Love is Alive by Philip Bailey, and he was part of Earth, Wind, and Fire, which Steven Spielberg is actually a big fan of, Earth, Wind, and Fire. But Love is Alive by Philip Bailey.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also, you were talking about them coming up the hill. It's another pretty cool shot where the camera is ground level, and the four of them are carrying their bikes up.
Yeah.
And you can see everything in the background.
Here's why it's important that they're coming up over that hill. So the last time we saw them, they had the doubloon, and they were sort of figuring out where those rocks were on Cannon Beach in reference to the doubloon. They were looking from, I guess you could say, kind of left to right, and then the next time we see them, they're on the other side of those rocks coming up. So they would have had to have gone down on the beach to get a clear way to get up here. So it does make sense. It is conceivable that they would have done that. But damn, man, those guys having to go down that cliff with their bikes, across that beach with their bikes, and then back up a hill with their bikes. There's some troopers.
The other thing that was really cool is when Mikey lines up that doubloon again, and he says, it's a match. And it's one of those really odd, strange shots again where everything is in focus. And it's the same shot that they had when they were in the house with the map, when they heard the lightning and came back, to where everything is in focus. It's so unique.
Yeah.
And it just really caught my eye.
Yeah, it's a processed shot where you have kind of like three layers of footage going on there. You've got what they would have, the original plate, which was the landscape. Then they would have shot, the three guys, Chunk and Mouth and Data, kind of in between. And then, of course, Mikey's hand with the doubloon. And to get those all to line up perfectly so that you see the lighthouse and the rocks through those little tiny holes on the coin is pretty outstanding. They did a hell of a job with that shot.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Data is the one that had his compass to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to do that. I'm
You
sure.
see him, he takes his compass out later.
Right, and they say something about they say something about the restaurant, and they say that must mean that's where the rich stuff is, like near the restaurant.
Yeah.
And then Mikey asks Mouth to translate the map, and that's when it kind of starts. That's when he starts when the minute ends, right at that point. But you get a good, right at the last second of the minute, you get a good look at that map, and you can see the blood. You remember we had talked about earlier that was
real blood.
one of the prop guys that had cut himself to make the map look more real.
Jesus.
But one of the things interesting about it is the blood looks very, very new.
Yeah.
So yes, it looks real because it's blood, but it's like blood doesn't look like that after that many years.
Right. Did they ever? Yeah. 1632 is when they said Willie was, caught up in the turmoil with the British and his escape from the British. So that's however many years that would have been between this and the 1985.
A couple.
Yeah, a couple. Well, that's all I've got for this minute. What about you?
That's pretty much it, Brady.
All right, Christopher. Well, okay, everybody, that's it for minute 27. Be sure to tune back in with us tomorrow for minute number 28. And until then, I'm Brady.
And this is Chris.
And we're here to remind you that Goonies
Never say die.
Goonies Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the show, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can find us at GooniesMinute.com, Facebook.com/GooniesMinute, Twitter.com/GooniesMinute, and at Instagram @GooniesMinute. You can contact us at GooniesMinute@gmail.com.